When a series ends, it can either have a well written, good conclusion, something that wasn't expected but could have been done a little bit better, or something that just downright makes people quit the series entirely. And just in case if you have never seen this series before, we're going to be talking about Attack on Titan, its ending to be specific. And if I had to take a guess on what started this sort of mini tremor that caused Attack on Titan's ending, it would have to be this sketch right here. Now, if any of you remember back in the day, maybe, I want to say maybe 10 years ago, Isayama had posted this on social media and stated that this was going to be the final page of Attack on Titan. It was just in its rough sketch form at the time. And just like with any fan base, everyone was just making theories left and right on how the series would properly end. Everyone had their hopes high. Everyone was just banding together. Wow. Okay, woo, that fan base is probably not as bad as My Hero, but still bad. And, to be truthfully honest, no jokes at all whatsoever, this happens to a lot of series where there's a massive buildup, there's so much going on, and then when the ending finally hits, it just crashes and burns, but not because the author wanted it to, but because it's entered a state where you kind of have to ask yourself, where do we go from here and what do we do? And to make a good comparison on something that is recently going through this, in my opinion, even though I don't keep up with it, is Naruto slash Boruto. Naruto's ending, from a writer's standpoint, seems pretty good, but from a fan standpoint, it's kind of bad. And considering the fact that Boruto is a continuation of Naruto, it's an example of what I just said. The series has gone to a place where, yeah, it could end at any point, but fans are no longer, or just have very little investment into this IP anymore, because it's just gonna keep going and keep going and keep going, or it ends but it just feels lackluster, or it just feels rushed. Although, really quick before we go back to my main discussion on Attack on Titan, I genuinely think Naruto should have ended with them defeating Madara. That's all I'm gonna say. And now that we're back on topic, I will say Attack on Titan's final arc had the backing of the ending of season 3 behind it, and everybody was just hyped up. I mean, the final arc starts out really strong. It's actually very strong consistently until you start seeing some cracks, but it didn't really fail until it got to Armin and Aaron's conversation and Aaron's character as a whole within that entire conversation, and I will get to that point. But the final arc is so good because it's a real life depiction of how society like depicts itself amongst the different classes of people. You have poor, which is Eldians. You have the rich, which are Marlians, and anyone else who has money and power. And that's the sad part. We live in the world where this happens, and Attack on Titan's final arc is such a good depiction of it because Isayama was not pulling any punches. He was showing that, yeah, what these people are doing, the Marlians, is wrong. Labeling people just because of their race is wrong. Because of their social status, it's wrong. And I really liked that. So before we actually get to my opinion on the ending itself and Armin and Aaron's conversation, I just like to mention two moments that I think should have happened in the final arc. One actually did happen in the final arc and the other didn't. So honorable mention number one I would like to add is Hanji versus the Colossal Titans. When I first watched this on Crunchyroll in English, I cried. I'm not gonna lie, I cried watching this because seeing her give it her all against the Colossal Titans, it felt like something that she would do just to get results for an experiment she was doing on a Colossal Titan itself. And the fact that she just kept fighting, knowing that she was dying from the flames that were coming from the how hot the steam was from the Colossal Titans. It just makes me cry every time because she's actually one of my favorite characters in Attack on Titan, and I'll always miss Hanji. Rest in peace. Okay, honorable mention number 2 kind of irks me a little bit because I feel like it should have been a thing. Why were Eren and Historia not together as a couple? I know a lot of people are probably pissed off with me saying that right now. I still think these two should have became a thing because they have more chemistry. Like, I'll leave the Mikasa stuff for the last part of this video, which is coming up. Let me just say this. Historia's baby should have been Eren's daughter. Why? Oh, let's see. Could be held secret that the daughter of the man that literally destroyed 80% of the population is currently the daughter of the queen of Paradise Island. Let that sink in your head for a minute. That is such a good plot twist. Like, Eren still lives on, but in a sense that, you know, his daughter has his DNA, well, a piece of his DNA. And the fact that she has to be under constant security because you know there's going to be some people out there that's going to try to go after her because she's the daughter of Eren Yeager, the man who damn near again took out the entire human population. Yeah, I kind of feel like these two should have gotten together. Historia seems like she was more attached to Eren than she was to Ymir, even though I think the whole Ymir and Historia relationship was kind of just a bait and switch type thing, even though it was a little serious and all that, but still, I feel like the story could have ended on a big cliffhanger, like fans wondering, how is this kid gonna live knowing that it is the daughter of the man that destroyed the world? Well, almost damn near destroyed the world. I feel like the series could have came back for like maybe a movie or something that focuses on that, and yet we didn't get that. And yeah, that kind of pisses me off a little bit. Yeah. Okay. The one section, Eren and Armin's conversation before Eren's passing. What do I think of the conversation minus the part I don't like? It's actually a very good depiction of a pessimistic outlook versus a curious outlook. The best way I can describe the two is that Eren at the beginning of the series wanted to be the hero who went through the path of revenge and wanted to be seen as the one that took down all the Titans. But as the series progressed on, he saw that humanity was actually the problem and he would have to be the one that flipped the switch. As for Armin's case, he was always curious but scared. But since he joined the Survey Corps and survived, he learned more about himself and about the world. He got to see the ocean. He got to see, you know, that there's more out there beyond the ocean. Even though he had the books that told him, yes, there is more to this world than just the walls, Armin always seemed to be the type that would look before he leaped, but yet his mind is very powerful, and that's why they're best friends. One is the more cool and calculated one, while the other is just trying to get a task done, but they're not seeing what it takes to get that task done, which is Eren, and so on and so forth. Now, if Isayama had just ended the conversation right there, Armin and Eren's friendship would have ended tragically due to the fact that neither one of them could see eye to eye with each other, you know, due to the circumstances that they were in. Unfortunately, it does not end right there because we get this sorry excuse for a reason why Eren actually loves Mikasa. It's because he doesn't want her to be with another man because he actually loves her, blah, 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 blah. I I, I just got thrown into left field with this because throughout the series, Aaron has shown no romantic affection for Mikasa because he sees her as a sister. And I think this is could be Isayama's way of like, you know, bait and switch. Like I said about Ymir and Krista. Well, Historia actually. The whole bait and switch thing. But when you're in this deep, and this is the actual ending of like your main character's saga, that's not a good sign. And in my opinion, Aaron's character actually got better because he emotionally detached himself from her and everybody else that he considered family and friends. And to backtrack like this, just why? Now, as for my opinion on the ending itself, when I first read it, I could tell that there was supposed to be some build up in the final chapter, but all I could feel was rushed pacing. Like it just cuts to Armin on a trip on a boat with the rest of Team Jaeger, which is what I like to call them. And it also just shows like a brief history of like what happened after the rumbling. And the only thing I'm thinking is that this is going too fast. And the original ending itself, before we get to the extended ending, it I don't know, something just felt missing. Now, when I watched the anime version kind of slowed it down a bit. It was still rushed, but I could tell that they tried their best to make things make sense. But it's kind of like at the same time, it's rushed. I feel like if the pacing was better, I feel like the ending would stick with my mind a little bit more. And I feel like with any ending of a series that a lot of people overreact to, like My Hero, for example, yeah, the ending isn't what a lot of people wanted, but it's not a terrible ending. It was left open ended. I feel like nowadays fan bases are just way too critical of when a series ends. And Attack on Titan's ending, like, if I had to give it maybe a scale of like 1 to 10, it's about a 7. Like 7 is like a C plus. Now, my quick thought slash opinion on the extended ending. I wouldn't really call it an extension. I would just feel like it's more of a bonus epilogue on what happened after the events of the ending slash the rumbling arc. It's not bad. It shows that humanity can't learn. But if I had to pick, I feel like the original ending just cut it off right there. The extended ending does get extra detail, but I kind of feel like it was just the last ditch attempt to try to fix everything, but it ultimately did not. I don't think it did. Although I will say that the chapter that is adapted at the very end of the Attack on Titan compilation movie Mappa had made for theaters, let me just say Armin and Mikasa arguing all because of the fact that Armin pointed out all the buildup and all the flaws, and Mikasa's like just biting back at him, and Aaron is literally the middleman in the situation. His only answer is, "I'm glad I got to spend time with you guys." It's so funny that I guess these are their reincarnations, but in some people's lore, like these are actually like just the regular teenagers. Then they like Aaron imagined everything while he was watching the movie. I just find that to be so funny. And if this was actually the true ending, I'd be completely fine with it. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Like and subscribe. See you guys later.